Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Meaningful Monday. This is Lee Brower, and I'm so happy to be here to share with you. And before we get started, let me say thank you. Thank you to all of you that have responded in some kind words and some good suggestions, and have really, said that how much you really enjoy these Meaningful Mondays. I enjoy them as well. I deliberately called them Meaningful Mondays so that I'd be forced to do this at least once a week. Not that I'm being forced, but I have a tendency to say, well, okay, I'm going to do it this week, and then it ends up being the last day of the week. But by making them Meaningful Mondays, it's a commitment for me then that I'll be with you every Monday. Please share this. Let's get as many people becoming meaningful as we can. And that could be your gift to them, and just a conversation around what does it mean to be meaningful. Instead of, like we talked last week, just a search for happiness, we really understand that happiness comes from becoming meaningful. Happiness is not about comparisons. True happiness is really about living life on purpose, living life deliberately. So we've gone through. You've made your list, hopefully, of looking at this year of how you can enjoy the journey. That's the element. Enjoy the journey along the way. Don't be just focused on the finish line. As I was thinking about that recently, I read a book. It's called The Little Book of Prosperity, and it's written by a lady by the name of Van Hull, Hulle. And it's just a little tiny book with some great thoughts. And one of the chapters was talking about irritations and how irritations can come in and throw us out of whack. We can leave our home very positive and just ready to, we're so grateful and in the spirit. But then we get on the freeway and somebody cuts us off, or we get into a traffic jam. Or maybe it's some irritation that has to do with our health, maybe a cold that we're experiencing, or cold sore, or maybe something to do. We've got something in our eye, or maybe it's somebody that's irritating us at work, so it makes us mad when we go to work. And I think about all these little irritations, and the thought that struck me was when she said in there, when those irritations come, ask yourself, is there somebody out there in the world that would trade places with me in a heartbeat? So when I'm stuck in that traffic jam and I start to get irritated and lose that feeling of abundance, that feeling of meaningfulness, that feeling of being on purpose, is there somebody out there that would trade places with me in a heartbeat? That maybe doesn't have a car? That maybe would love to live in America, to have the freedom that we have to be able to drive a car? There's somebody out there with a trade. In fact, there's probably hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe millions that would trade in a heartbeat. What about when we complain about a minor cold? I can tell you there are plenty of out there that would trade what they're dealing with for a minor cold in a heartbeat. Or the irritations that are going on with family. And maybe there's plenty of people out there that would love to have the irritations of a family. I know that I get frustrated with my mom sometimes because no matter how old I get or how old she gets, she's right there to make sure that I'm on task. And sometimes I let that irritate me a little bit, as much as I love her and appreciate her for all that she does. But you know what? I'm so grateful for my mom and that she's there. I lost my father this year, and I know what it's like to be without a father. And so sometimes, these little irritations, as you go through the day, then think about who would trade places with me in a heartbeat. Have a wonderful week. Make the week meaningful by starting off by making Monday meaningful. And I'll talk to you next week.